everybody, and welcome to Echo Live. My name is Anna, coming to you from the Michigan Science Center's Echo Distance Learning Program. Today we have a very exciting program planned with some special guest stars, but before we introduce them, if you haven't done so already, for all of those joining us on Facebook, on Zoom, or on YouTube Live, go ahead and introduce yourself in the chat feature of whichever feature in order to ask or answer questions or to communicate with us, me, and our special guests throughout the entire program. Today we are talking about fish mouth adaptations, and of course the best person I knew to go to talk about fish and fish mouths were some of our friends over at the Belle Aquarium. So we've got two of my very dear friends who work over at the Belle Aquarium. We are joined today by Taylor Mock, and a little bit later on, we will meet Amanda Murray, who work at the Belle Aquarium, which is right down the road. Hi, Taylor, how are you?
Hey, Anna, I'm great. Thank you so much for having us today. I'm so excited to be on Echo Live with you.
It's so cool to see everybody. Now, I know we have a really exciting program planned. We are talking about fish, but first, do you want to tell us a little bit more about the Belle Aquarium?
Yeah, absolutely. So here we are in the Belle Aquarium. We're located on Belle Isle in Detroit. And this is actually the oldest aquarium in the country. So the oldest aquarium in the United States. This is the original building. It was built in 1904 by Albert Kahn. And if you can see all these green ceiling tiles right here, it was built to kind of have an immersive experience. So built to make you feel like you're underwater. So what better way than to dive in and have an immersive experience today?
Very cool. Now, everyone who's joining in on the chat, if you've joined us for Echo Live in the past, if we're talking about adaptations, can you think of adaptations of fish besides their mouths? We've talked about animal adaptations before. I know that the aquarium as well as the Science Center both have a collection of Madagascar hissing cockroaches. So, Taylor, do you want to tell us what an adaptation is while we wait for some answers in the chat?
Yeah, so an adaptation is a unique characteristic about that animal. So Anna, you talked about the Madagascar hissing cockroaches on Echo Live before. So their unique adaptation is that they can hiss, right? They hiss to deter predators. Some other really cool adaptations, exemplifying some animals that we have here at the aquarium. We've got a couple of electric animals. So we have got an electric catfish, and we have also got an electric eel. And they use electricity to navigate, stun their prey, lots of really cool things. So again, an adaptation is a unique characteristic about an animal.
All right, awesome.
Are we getting any ideas of what any adaptations might be in fish?
Oh yeah, Amy said camouflage would be a cool adaptation.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll wait for some more answers to come in, but do we want to go ahead and get started?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. All right. So here at the Belle Aquarium, we have got animals from all over the world. We have got animals from Africa, North America, South America, Asia, and they all have these unique characteristics. So today, we're going to talk specifically about how their mouths are uniquely adapted to them and how they can create balanced communities in order to fill their role in the environment. But, first we should probably talk a little bit about fish mouths. So go ahead, Anna, if you might, and throw that picture up there with the fish mouths. All right. So we're going to be talking about 3 different fish mouths today. I think that there's 4 on there, but we're just going to be talking about 3. The 3 we're going to be talking about today are superior, terminal, and inferior mouths. So let's think about a superior mouth. I've got an example of it right here. So a superior mouth is a mouth that points up. And Anna, we've got a visual of an arowana, one of the animals that we care for here at the aquarium, a silver arowana. They have their mouth pointed up. Now, having their mouth pointed up allows them to get their food in a certain way. So they can actually scoop up their food. And the arowana is pretty unique. It's got a unique adaptation where it can actually jump out of the water to catch its prey. They like to eat kind of like insects and stuff at the surface. So they have this mouth that's pointed up so they can eat things from the surface. Our next one that we're going to talk about is a terminal mouth. And I've got that right here. So our terminal mouth is located right in the middle of the fish's head, just like our mouths. And so let's think about this. What might an animal be that has a terminal mouth? Oh, I know, and I think you've got a picture of it too. The red-bellied piranhas. So we also have here at the aquarium. All right, now let's think a little bit deeper. If superior mouths have their mouths pointed up and they eat at the surface, where do you think fish with terminal mouths might eat? Their mouths are pointed straight forward. So in the water column, and the water column being, if you can imagine a imaginary line in the water of any waterway, ocean, river, lake, stream, and the surface is the top of the water column, and then it goes down all the way till you reach the bottom. Where do you think these mouths might be in the water column? Do you have anyone commenting, Anna?
Not yet, but I'm pretty confident that it can't be at the top of the water column, right? Because we said that's where the superior mouths would eat from.
Right.
Our audience is still thinking about this. Again, if you know where you think these mouths, where it's pointed straight ahead, where do you think they eat in the water column, guys? Tell us in the chat if you've got an answer. Or
So,
think about, if you know anything about piranhas, think about what they eat.
I'm gonna.
Just yet, Taylor, do you want to tell us?
Yeah, absolutely. So they like to eat in the middle of the water column. So just like our superior mouths that were pointed up like to eat up in the water column, these terminal mouths like to eat forward, just like their mouths are pointed forward. All right. And then we've got one more type of mouth, and that is our inferior mouth. The inferior mouth is slightly pointed down, or it can be slightly pointed down, or even on the bottom of the fish's head. And an example that we have, or two that we've got in that, is called sturgeon. So we've got one sturgeon here at the aquarium that we care for. They like to eat. Let's think about it. The superior mouths like to eat the top, and the terminal mouths like to eat the top. In the middle of the water column, then the inferior mouths like to eat at the bottom, right? So they like to eat at the bottom of the water column. But you know what? Mouths aren't the only thing, or excuse me, the shape of the mouth isn't the only thing that plays a factor into adaptations of fish mouths. We also have to think about what's inside of their mouths, right? So you have to think about their teeth. There's several different types of fish teeth, but the main ones are, you have canines, you've got really sharp teeth. Those are typically used for eating meat, right? So carnivores have sharp canine teeth. And then you also have softer, maybe even duller teeth. They like to eat plants or squishier things that are softer. And then something that we'll see later today, we even have some fish that almost don't look like they have teeth, but in actuality they do. So those might be kind of like little ridges or little bumps on the trunk. But Anna, I think that we have got a game that we might want to play, right? That exemplifies some fish mouths.
I would love to play a game, and this is a really easy one that you guys can recreate at home too. So Taylor and I are going to have a bit of a race using different types of fish mouths, but this is a simulation. I don't think I want to eat any fish today. How about you, Taylor? Probably not.
No.
Thanks. No, thank you for today. Maybe tomorrow. But instead of that, why don't you tell us what we have in our little fish habitats here on the table?
Yeah, so in here, we've got a few different things. So we have got some black sand here. Oops, I did not scoop that up very well. We've got some black sand, which is going to be like the sediment of our little ecosystem that we've got here. So the bottom, we've also got some little green bits of some aquarium rock. Those are going to be like little bits of algae. And then we've also got some pom-poms here as well. So these are going to be little bigger organisms. Maybe they might be some invertebrates, so something that does not have a backbone, maybe something like an insect or something. Or they might even represent a small fish. And then we've also got some different instruments or some different mouths that we are going to be picking these up with. So right here we've got tweezers. So this might be maybe like a cleaner shrimp that has little pinchers. Or we've also got a paper clip. So this might be a smaller mouth of a fish probably. Or maybe some sort of other vertebrate in the ecosystem. We've also got a chip clip, which has a bigger mouth. And then I also have a fork here that might want to scoop up something. So Anna, which mouth would you like to choose?
I think I want to go with the chip clip. I want the big mouth. How about you?
I go with the pincher shrimp.
Uh-oh, I think we lost you there for just a moment, Taylor. What kind of mouth did you pick?
Oh no, I'm gonna do the little pinchers, like a cleaner shrimp.
Ooh, okay, ooh, all right. So we are gonna set a timer. And what kind of food should we go for in our first round of this game? What do you think?
Let's go for the gravel first.
Okay, all right. So I've got little plastic beads to simulate my gravel, and you've got little fishbowl pebbles there. All right, so I'm just about ready to set our time. We're gonna play for 30 seconds and see who can collect the most food. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here,
all right.
3, 2, 1, go. Oh man.
Oh,
this is already a little bit trickier than I thought.
Anna, I'm not doing so well.
Oh, man. Well, I love to win, so I'm not slowing down.
Here, bud. There we go.
All right, Taylor, 3, 2, 1. Oh, I didn't get a last one there. All right, how many did you collect?
I've got 11.
Wow, okay. I thought I was doing really well at first. I've got all mine here in the bottom. I only collected 7. I had one really lucky round where I collected 2 at the same time, but other than that, my big old mouth wasn't great for collecting these tiny little pebbles. All right, do we want to play another round?
Yeah, let's go for the pom-poms this time, or the bigger food.
Okay, so we're gonna keep our same mouths, and it looks like Taylor won for those smaller algae-like organisms, and we're gonna see who's the winner when it comes to those larger, maybe invertebrates this time. All right, 30 seconds on the clock starts in 3, 2, 1, go. Wow, I feel like I'm doing great this time. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, I think I killed it this time. How about you?
That's not so great.
No?
I only got 5.
All right, so it looks like our luck kind of switched. I've got a lot in here, probably more than I can count, and I think I accidentally grabbed a couple of those little pebbles while I was doing this. So why did it work out this way? What do you think?
Well, different mouths are adapted for different things. I mean, cleaner shrimp, like what I was simulating, they're really great at picking up these little like parasites and algae off of larger fish. And then fish that have bigger mouths are able to capture bigger prey. So it's all about the different adaptations that animals have evolved and come to have over time.
Okay, so it's not that one mouth is better than the other, but that they're better for eating different kinds of food.
Yeah, exactly. So all fish fill their niche in an environment or their role. And so that creates balanced communities. So just like the cleaner shrimp are really great at picking the parasites or algae up from our little ecosystem here. Not all fish can eat parasites and algae, right? Because that would deplete the food source. And not all bigger fish, or not all cleaner shrimp, could eat the larger fish because that would also deplete that food source. So we need to create balanced communities so that our ecosystems can remain healthy.
Very cool. All right, now I know what we have planned next is going to be really exciting. Taylor's actually going to take us on a tour of the aquarium. She's going to let us meet some of their species that they have there and discuss their different types of mouths. But remember, as we're walking through and meeting these different fish species, that you can ask any question you'd like to Taylor or Amanda, who's also here to help us out, and they will answer them as we go. So what's our first stop?
All right, so our first stop, we are going to meet one of my favorite fish here at the aquarium. We are going to meet our pufferfish. So let's see, we're almost there. So we're walking back. All right, here we are. We've got two of these pufferfish in here. They are amazing. Oh, can we close up on that one real quick so we can see its mouth? Oh, whoa. This is great. They don't usually show their mouths. So these pufferfish have really unique mouths in order to fill their niche in the environment, like we were just talking about. So they actually have a beak-like mouth, or beak-like teeth, excuse me. So their two top teeth and their two bottom teeth are fused together. Now, let's think about maybe what fusing teeth might do, right? So it wouldn't make them weaker. In fact, it would reinforce their teeth and it would even make them stronger. We can see also that their mouth, it's kind of in the terminal position, but their lip is a little bit pointed down. So that might lead us to believe that they would eat something off of the bottom. Now, can anyone comment in the comment section and maybe tell us what you think they might eat? So again, they've got these two fused top and two fused bottom teeth to really have strong teeth. What do you think that might be used for? Again, they've got this mouth that's pointed slightly down. We getting anything, Anna?
Well, we've got a good question while we wait for some answers to come to that one. Amy asked, is the pufferfish from the ocean?
No, in fact, this pufferfish is pretty special. Usually we think about pufferfish coming from the ocean, but these pufferfish actually come from the Congo River in Africa. So they're a freshwater pufferfish.
Okay, that might help people to give some answers. Let's see, Mary guessed that maybe they eat clams, and Justin guessed that they eat fish food.
So they in fact do eat clams. Great job, Mary. That was a wonderful guess. So these guys do have clams. They use their really sharp, or excuse me, really strong teeth to clamp down and crush those clams and mussels that can be found in the Congo. And if you close up, you can even see some of their past meals there on the bottom as well. You can see some shells from those clams. Now, like I was saying earlier, these are very specialized creatures and they help fill their niche in the environment. Now, a place that requires a lot of niches are coral reefs. And coral reefs are really diverse because even though they occupy only 1% of the ocean floor, they actually account for 25% of all marine life. We're going to look at one really cool animal, but before we get there, let's look at it right now because it's swimming around. So we're going to take a look at our laced moray eel, which you can see right up there. So this laced moray eel has got a very long body. It's actually one of the top predators in coral reefs. It likes to hunt at night and it likes to live in the cracks and crevices of the coral. It's a very ferocious eater, as you can see. But something that's really unique about these laced moray eels, their unique adaptation is that they have not one, but two sets of jaws. So they have a oral jaw, just like you and me, in the front of their mouth here. And then Anna, maybe you could put that visual up so people could see real quick. But they also have something called a pharyngeal jaw, which is located further down their throat. And what happens when they eat, let's see, I think Evan's feeding them right now. What happens when they eat is that they first grab on to their prey using that oral jaw, but then, oh, there we go, nice. Oh, there we go. But because they can't swallow, that pharyngeal jaw actually simultaneously comes up and grabs onto their prey and pulls it down towards their digestive system, which is pretty cool if you ask me. That is such a neat adaptation. But let's think about that for a sec. If they didn't have this pharyngeal jaw, it might be really difficult for them to get food, right? So these adaptations are what allows them to survive in their environment. Okay, that's really cool. Awesome. All right. Well, I think we should probably let Ripley finish her meal, and we should continue on. But she put on quite the show. Thank you so much, Ripley, the Lake Moray eel. Now, maybe let's look at her a little bit longer and ask a question. So, who thinks they know what coral is? Is coral an animal? Is it a rock? Is it a plant? What do we think it might be?
Ooh, good question. While we wait for some answers to come in, is coral an animal or is it a plant? Someone asked, does that work similarly, that moray eel's jaw? Is it similar to a snake jaw?
No, it's not similar to a snake jaw. Amanda, do you want to take over that one? Amanda's operating the camera right now, but she's right here, and she's very schooled in this.
Snake jaws are a little different. The way they're hinged to open very wide, but this is actually a separate jaw, basically, in the back of their throat that will come up and grab the prey. So it's a little different than a snake.
Very cool. And one other question, what were we feeding the moray eel inside there?
I think this might be another Amanda question because she helps care for the animals.
So the moray eel eats tilapia and sardines, whole sardines.
Okay. So other little fish. Very cool. All right, so we've got some answers starting to come in, Taylor. We've got a couple people voting for plant, a couple people voting for animal, and someone who says that it's a rock structure with small animals all over it. What do you think?
Oh, that's really interesting. So coral is actually a living animal, believe it or not. It does really look like a rock, which is kind of weird to think about, but it is in fact a live animal. Actually, we have evidence of coral existing in Michigan. It dates back quite a few million years, hundreds of million years actually, but we know this today, and I think we've got a visual of it exists today, or it doesn't exist today, excuse me, but we can see evidence of it today in Petoskey stones. So during the Great Ice Age, when all that glaciation was happening and the glacier was slowly sweeping over the Great Lakes region, it kind of knocked the tops off of these, I forget the name of them, excuse me, but of these coral pieces. And today we can find those in little stones, or Petoskey stones. All right, and speaking of the Great Lakes, here we are at one of our Great Lakes tanks. So in here, you can see our gar. We've got our long-nosed gar right here, and then behind it, we've got our short-nosed gar. Now, let's take a moment to observe. What are we noticing about these mouths? Take a look at their teeth. Take a look at the size of their mouth.
I'm noticing that they're very cute.
They are very cute. That's a great observation. I've actually got a little bit closer up of a gar jaw right here. So as you can see, they have got these very long mouths, and then they also have these really sharp teeth. Can you see the sharp teeth? Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Amy noticed that too. She said Amy noticed that they have a long, skinny nose, and Justin said that the end is very flat.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. So these gar have actually evolved to become ambush predators, and what that means is that in the wild, you can see them right now. They like to swim very stilly for the most part. You can see that long-nosed gar in the back swimming really still. So they use that as sort of a type of camouflage to kind of blend in with their environment, and they like to wait really stilly for their prey, and they wait for their prey to come to them. So when a fish kind of swims up thinking it's taking refuge under a log or a stick or something floating in the water, they actually attack, and they take their long jaws, and from the side they just bite really quick to the side. That's why we call them an ambush predator. But their mouths look quite differently from the next guest that we'll be featuring. So our next guest, has a jaw that looks like this. Isn't that kind of weird looking? So we're gonna put this way a little bit. So I'm going to give you some guesses as to what this next guess might be. They live in South America. They kind of look like they're flying through the water. And like I said before, they also have jaws that look like this, that are actually modified scales. Now, while we're walking over there, are there any other questions that are coming in, Anna?
Yes. Leanne asked, is the gar related to the swordfish?
No, the gar is not related to the swordfish, although it does have a very long mouth. So that was a good observation, but no, they are not related.
Yeah, lots of people making comparisons that it looked like an alligator too, maybe.
Oh, well, there is a type of gar called an alligator gar, but they are not related to alligators. But they do look kind of similar. Those are good observations as well. All right, so here we are at our next guest. We are going to be looking at some freshwater stingrays. So the jaw that I showed you belongs to these freshwater stingrays. In here, we've got our large spot and ocelot stingrays. So from before, if you can remember back to the beginning of our program, oh, and this is a perfect example. Their mouths are in the inferior position. They are on the bottom of their heads. So what they do, or excuse me, let's take a look at the jaw again real quick. So what does this jaw look like? What do these teeth look like? They kind of look like little bumps almost. Like I mentioned before, they're modified scales, modified placoid scales. And they don't really have sharp teeth, right? So instead, they have adapted and evolved to have these modified scales so that they can crush things more or less, right? They're used for chomping and not so much biting, I would say. So they like to eat very squishy things. So they like to eat invertebrates. Ooh, that's a cool shot. They like to eat invertebrates on the floor of the Amazon and other South American river basins. And I think we've got a really special treat now. Amanda, our aquarist, who's been hanging out with us, she is actually going to feed our stingrays for us. So we're gonna head in the back and take a look. We're gonna get an up close behind the scenes view of a stingray feeding. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna switch off and I'm gonna let Amanda introduce herself real quick while we're walking back.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amanda. I'm an aquarist here at the Belle Aquarium, and I love my job. It's awesome, and we can't wait to see you back eventually. But yeah, I'm going to take you back. We're going to feed some stingrays on a special contraption that we made. And in order to make sure that all the stingrays are getting food, and that we don't just throw it in there and all the other fish eat it, I actually taught them to come up the side. So you're going to see us actually feed them, hand feed them from the side. So
that is going to be so cool. All right, while we head towards the back, I won't turn off the screen unless we have a glitch here. I have a question for you, Taylor.
Yeah.
Do you train all your fish to come to the camera because they are super nervous?
What was that, Amanda? Did you say yes?
I interact with the fish a lot.
Yeah. So we do this thing called enrichment, which is a really nice thing for the fish. Excuse that door. It kind of mixes up their daily routine. So they're able to kind of stimulate their minds and stimulate their bodies to kind of keep them on their toes in their habitats here at the aquarium. All right, I'm going to join Amanda coming up here. So what are you feeding us, our stingrays today, Amanda?
So I got a nice mix of sardines and shrimp, tilapia, and this really green stuff that looks like jello. It's just like fish jello. It's got a lot of nutrients and vitamins in it. And so I'm not only feeding the stingrays, I'm going to be feeding these guys as well. And I'm hoping that we can draw some stingrays. Usually they come up. Oh, here's one. Oh, almost. Come on up. So the reason that I have this thing in here is so that my hands are safe from the big fish. Here comes one right here. Here we go. Here we go. Whoop. Oh, watch it. You might get splashed. Ready? Here you go. Here you go. A lot of times they'll spit water at me to let me know that they're there. All right. There's another one. Bigger one here. There he goes. There he goes. So I have to make sure I put it underneath them, like their mouths are underneath.
Wow, this is so cool.
There we go.
Are there any questions for us while we're doing this?
Yeah, Amanda, Amy asked, do you train the fish?
So it's kind of, yeah, you train them, but it's more of a training for their own benefit. So when you train fish, just like they train a lot of like big mammals and stuff to get shots or to be a medical check, it's good to train your fish to eat in a spot just so you can make sure they're getting the nutrients they need. So it's really important that you can train them. And they're more trainable than you want when there's motivation. So, but
That is very cool. If anyone else has other questions while we are watching the stingrays be fed, go ahead, type them in the chat. We are keeping an eye on those. I don't see anything else quite yet. But Amanda, I have another question for you. Which is your favorite species at the aquarium?
oh my goodness. So I get this question a lot, and I have to say that I like, it depends on the day. But one of the ones I really like to say, because people don't expect it, is I really love the crappie. I love our native fish, but the crappie just have personalities, and they're just really fun to feed, and they're just cool. They're really pretty fish. So I always like to say the crappie.
That is very cool. I actually have a small man-made lake in my backyard, and we have some species of crappie in that lake, so I see them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Heather asked, they just logged on, so they missed part of our tour here, but could you repeat what kind of ray is that?
What kind of ray? So this is an ocelot ray, and then I think, Amanda, we also have one large spot stingray too, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be the bigger female.
So these are freshwater stingrays, and they are from the South American river basin. So from like the Amazon and the ones adjacent to the Amazon.
That is very cool. Justin asked, do either of you have a goldfish, or is there a goldfish at the aquarium?
We have goldfish.
We do have goldfish. We have a whole tank. Goldfish are actually invasive to the Great Lakes region. So we have a whole tank of goldfish. We've got carp in there too, and some round gobies to kind of show that this stingray here is giving us a show.
Oh, you missed it, bud.
To show that invasive species are harmful to the environment. But to answer Justin's question, yes, we do have goldfish here at the aquarium.
That's very cool. I think people are just thrilled with this. Thank you guys so much. Benita said, wow, with so many O's I can't even count. This is so cool. And I agree with you, Benita. This is amazing just to even get to watch it on camera like this. But like you said, when the aquarium opens back up, everyone should go visit so that you can see all these fish species in person too.
Yes, absolutely. We can't wait to see all of your faces back here. We miss all of you. The fish miss you. They do. Amanda said that's probably one of the reasons they come to the glass so much, because they miss all the people walking by. Oh, but if I can get both me and Amanda back on here, there we go. Anna, thank you so much for having us on your program today. This has been such a privilege. Thank you so much. We really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for coming on. We'll hope that we'll see you back on Echo Live pretty soon. And I know that I will be at the aquarium the first day it opens because I'm so excited to see the fish and learn some more. All right. Thank you, Amanda.